They're at home.
We are undecided on the Detroit pitcher. Undecided on the pitchers for Detroit as I do this early Tuesday afternoon, but it's a play against spot for Detroit, and that's why I wanted to talk about this game. And we're not talking the Yankee game here on the show, but it could maybe be a play a spot against the Yankees too. You know, we always say fade the Sunday night ESPN team, right? And it's been factored into the lines in recent years, but it's still a negative scheduling spot as that's a spotlight Sunday night game. Teams have to usually travel and often play somewhere else the next day. Well, I thought after watching that Yankee-Tiger extra inning Little League game on Sunday night, boy, this fade spot's going to be better than ever. And then I checked the schedule, and I was disappointed to see that neither the Tigers or Yankees played on Monday. But I think it could still linger, especially since Detroit came from behind to win that game in Williamsport on Sunday night in extra innings. And they're facing a Cubs team that's actually playing decent baseball. They're competitive on the season, plus 4 run differential, which means they're actually better than their 61-64 record. They're 5.5 out of the wild card spot, so they're not out of contention yet. They're 12-8, their last 20. Tigers 10-10. So these two teams are pretty equal, but I think the scheduling spot is bad for Detroit, and the fact that they're undecided on the starting pitcher still is part of this handicap, and that tells me this is not a fully focused spot for them as well. They also had their ace on the mound Sunday night. I think this is a letdown spot for Detroit, and we will take a situational play on the Chicago Cubs minus $1.35 to minus $1.40 at 8 o'clock Eastern tonight on Tuesday.
So the Cubs aren't in the exact same spot that you were talking about for Atlanta, returning home off a road trip, but they're still a home team off a day off. Is that a bet against scenario like it is for the teams coming back off a road trip with that day off? I would think that it might be.
No, and I'll dig a little deeper here. I mean, here, once again, I don't have data on this, but they had Thursday off when they returned from that 5-game road trip. And to be honest, Teddy, when Jeff and Ralph and I talked about this last year, it was 6 road games or more is what qualified. So the Cubs are actually only on a 5-game trip. It's when they're gone for multiple weeks because, once again, it's human nature. You get back, you got to go shopping, you got to deal with stuff that you haven't done for 2 weeks. So they actually had last Thursday to do that in all seriousness. And then they were home for 3 days. So I think it's a different situation here. But we don't talk a lot about situational analysis for baseball. It's always starting pitchers, right? The odds are based on the starting pitchers, and they go less than half a game now sometimes. And it's a 162-game season, and you play almost every day. So I love these little situational angles when we can find them. And I do think the fact that Detroit is not named a starter after having their ace on the mound Sunday tells us something about maybe the mindset in this game. They also beat the Yankees on Saturday, don't forget. In fact, they shut them out in that game. So back-to-back wins against the Yankees, including a big spotlight game in Williamsport. And that was a unique situation for the players. You had a lot of the little leaguers. They interviewed Garrett Cole late in the game when I was watching. He said it made him feel like a kid again. It puts everything in perspective. And then for Detroit having to travel from there and then travel to Chicago, even with the day off, it just doesn't look like a good setup here. So I do think this is one of those rare situational plays that we get occasionally. Fantastic special we've been running for the past week. And if you haven't taken advantage, shame on you, but you got one more night to do so. And that's the buy 3 days, get 7 days. Buy 3, get 4 more days for free. And tonight, Tuesday, it expires at midnight. So once again, this is your last chance to get a 7-day package for the price of just 3 days. That's $69. $69, dude. That works out to less than $10 a day, about $5 per play. For all sports, all access for the next 7 days and nights. And tonight's the last chance to buy 3, get 4 more free. 7 days for the price of 3. No promo code needed. It's on my page right now, Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com. And you get there quicker with that shortcut, WT.buzz/SI.